Good morning for the Honorable Mr. or Mrs. Adjudicator. Good morning for the Honorable Ladies and Gentlemen. Hi, my name is Haldhira Ladiva. I'm from Politeknik State of Jakarta. And now I would like to discuss and give my argumentations about this motion today. This motion that was given in Nudc competitions. This motion is this House, as a first generation's immigrant parent of color in predominantly white country, would choose to live and raise children in ethnic enclave. Before we discuss further about these motions, we have to know exactly what is the ethnic enclave. Ethnic enclave is a community with a high concentrations with one ethnic, such as Chinatown, Little India, and so forth. For instance, Chinatown in Indonesia, Chinatown in certain district in Indonesia, that's what we call ethnic enclave. That what we can refer that as an ethnic enclave. So, ethnic enclave basically is actually people from the immigrant people to live in certain country and they raise their children to that country. And usually, the immigrant people gonna get some kind of discriminations and all of that things because of the people actually didn't like their culture and so forth. And before we want to know and we want to guarantee that immigrant people live comfortable in that ethnic enclave, that district, we have to know exactly what is the huge impact that immigrant people can give to that country. Like, for example, human resources. Human resources can be increased if immigrant people come to that country. Like, for example, like immigrant people come to that country and a certain district and they sell something like food or anything about that. And it's actually needed some people who are help their Chinese people, and that is definitely can help human resource in that district and genuinely increase economic growth in that country, because we know exactly that there is a regulations that can make some certain people give kind of profit to that country because they're actually not becoming a permanent resident, the permanent citizens in that country, but is permanent resident in that country, which is that they have kind of limitations toward the restricted rules in that country. And the second things that can make an impact to that country is actually an economic growth. Because of human resources, an economic growth is increased, of course. Because of economic growth is increased, the country feels like they can use it for the several conditions like some resistance economic and so forth. The most important things that we need to know is knowledge exchange. We know that they are from immigrant people, right? Because of the immigrant people, we have actually realized that those of that guys are actually have a different culture, different living. Like they are actually immigrant. Because of that immigrant, they have a different knowledge with the citizen of the country that they live. Because of that, the immigrant people can exchange something strategy in how to sell something, how to sell food or beverage. Because of that, the people who live in there, we will know exactly the good strategy that the immigrant people have. It's basically give kind of knowledge exchange of that. And it's kind of obvious that there is some kind of thing, a worldly things that people who live in there with the immigrant people that can exchange. And I think that with those of that points, these citizens are actually cannot do some kind of discriminations. But there is a thing that we need to narrow it down. It is the limitation of that restricted rules. Because you know that in Indonesia itself, 1998, there is a discrimination that was happened towards the China people, towards the people who are actually becoming permanent residents. Because of that discriminations, it appeared because of the regulations that is unhealthy with the immigrant people. That is the thing that we need to realize, and the government parts have to involve with this thing, because you know the coming that immigrant people to our country will give kind of exchange knowledge, will give increase the human resources, and of course the economic growth will be increased. And ultimately we genuinely believe that the coming of immigrant people will give kind of impact toward the country that they live. Because of that impact, the immigrant people will live comfortable. Because of what? There is no disadvantages things that the country have. Well, there is some of the part this disadvantageous thing, but we need to more realize that this will become the exchange of culture, the exchange of knowledge, and so forth. That's all for me. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Good morning, ladies and gents. My name is Yahya Ramadhany A as the Deputy Prime Minister. Now, today, I would like to continue the motion that my Prime Minister has already talked about, which says, this House, as a first-generation immigrant parents of color in a predominantly white country, would choose to live and raise children in an ethnic enclave. Now, let's talk about the benefits of having them here, considering that they have knowledge, they have skills, abilities that they bring from their ancestors back in their hometown, and now they're living here in a nation where they are hopefully benefiting and surely benefiting by their knowledge. How? We can make them to teach our workers, the people that we have here in our own nation, with their skills, with their ability. We can make them teach and open up a seminar or something of, like, for example, an educational seminar or economical seminar, which can contribute much to this nation by teaching our people how to do economy, how to raise our economy, how to make our economy grow, of course. And so therefore, we are not supposed to be pointing on all negatives on this subject of immigrants. Surely the word immigrant sounds so negative, like, oh, sure, you're an immigrant, you're not respected here. That's also the second point, respect. Society respect. By us having a foreign people in our nation, we are respecting they are part of the community, they are welcome. So therefore, we are opening up to other nations that, okay, you guys, you need a place to live, but you have to contribute to our nation. You cannot just live for free. I mean, you have to have something to give to this nation that you are planning to stay and even raise your children in an ethnic enclave. Okay, sure, they are living only in their ethnic enclave, but their impact can be nationwide. Society respect is such an important thing that we can gain respect from other nations, and we can benefit so much more than just that. Third of all, they are increasing economic growth by increasing the GDP of our own nation. Like, for example, I'm going to bring you some examples from other nations which also involve their immigrants in growing their economy growth. For example, in UK, quoted from migrationwatchuk.org, UK 2019 has raised 8%. The UK has 8% population of immigrants, and their impact is to the UK's economy has gone as far as 10%, and that's impressive. I mean, they're just immigrants, but their impact, they're benefiting the country so much as to help the GDP to grow as far as 10%. Also, average GDP per capita simulated by a South Africa professor. They simulated economy development growth with foreign workers. In South Africa, foreign workers contribute 2.2%, considering the high-skilled foreign workers, the immigrants, and